All right, I'm going to show you something cool. I'm going to go ahead and record for you what I found recently, just this morning actually, regarding how your friends rub off on you. So this is the friends rub off on you duodecanate. Now this is really, really important. I've noticed this actually because as you shift friendship groups, you tend to have certain traits get really, really pronounced in your life. And some of those traits are identifiable in the astrology chart, and I have found 4 of them. I call this the Friends Rub Off on You cocktail. And it reads like this. I draw out my Imum Coeli duodecanate and thus the other person's points near my Imum Coeli from everyone I encounter, including myself. In so doing, I feel destined to receive their points near my North Node while exerting a strong power to change their lives in their points near my Persephone. While they are associated closely with me in whatever capacity, they're much more easily inspired to display new ways of accomplishing whatever they have in my 2063 Bacchus duodecanate. In most cases, if I'm not interacting with them reliably in the realm of my North Node, my relationship with them tends to be much weaker than it would be with very close friends. Now, what does all that mean? Okay, so as you know, astrology is a snapshot of the sky when you were born. There are lots of planets. Everybody knows their sun, so they'll tell you, oh, I'm a Taurus, so I'm an Aries, or I'm a Pisces. They're talking about this right here, the sun. But there are lots of other planets that feature in the sky and tell you all kinds of things about your personality, including Venus, Chiron, Lilith, Saturn, Eros, Uranus, and all that. But what I just read to you basically describes the 4 points which are among the most powerful for automatically rubbing off on other people, just if they're in your immediate circle of friends or enemies. And I mean like immediate circle. This is not this is beyond like your family and your associates and all that. I'm talking these are the people who cry on your shoulders, or they hit the club with you, or they are like your strong enemies against which you define many of your actions. The asteroid 399 Persephone, 2063 Bacchus, the Imum Coeli, which is opposite the midheaven, and the North Node are all really strong in drawing out certain characteristics from other people who hang around you. And it's also the case that these 4 points in those people's charts will tend to be amplified in your life when those people are in your circle. So I read you this whole thing, and let me just kind of tour these planets so that if you get a chance to go onto a free site like astro.com and you can put in 2063 Bacchus, that's 2063 right here, or you can put in 399 Persephone, it's 399, or take a look at the North Node, which is pretty standard in charts, and the point opposite the MC, and that'll give you the IC. Then you can read this basic cocktail. I use duodecanates to read astrology charts, and all that means is that where these planets land in a sign is divided up into 12 sections themselves, like little mini signs. I call those duodecanates. Little mini signs, and they're just regions of 2.5 degrees because you've got 30 degrees to a sign divided by 12. And the little regions of 2.5 degrees tell you basic stuff. This first region, going backwards, is a conjunct. The second region here is an opposition. Third is a trine. Fourth is a square. Fifth is a quintile. Sixth is a sextile. 7 is a septile. 8 is an octile. 9 is a novile. 10 is a decile. 11 is an undecile. And 12 is an inconjunct. If that all went past you, don't worry about it. The point is that each of these signs is divisible into little micro signs. And you can think of this first section as being something like Aries, and yes, it does go backwards for those who are familiar with this treatment of it. So this is number 1, this is number 12. This is section 1, this is section 12, and so on and so forth. The Imum Coeli basically says what you draw out automatically from people. And you can see that the city of San Antonio tends to draw out number 1-ness in Leo. So that's how you start, this is number 1, expressing youthfulness or playfulness. And so if you're in San Antonio, then you know about the fiesta culture. I'm here in San Antonio. I like the city. And if you've got this kind of lighthearted, nah, we're not hustling kind of thing. So it's not New York and it's not LA. And that's really what's drawn out in San Antonio. San Antonio also leaves a strong impression on people. And so well, all people do. All items and businesses and whatever leave strong impressions, but the question is where. San Antonio tends to leave that strong impression here in 25 Gemini. You can see that's where Persephone is. And that's the second 2.5-degree section of Gemini. So it's in how individuals communicate their values, because that would be an opposition. San Antonio also uh, has a tendency to get a certain energy given to it by people who look at it. And this is the third 2.5-degree section of Virgo, daily doings and trineness. So communication doing daily doings. It's just kind of like a worker's environment. And lastly, people who consider San Antonio their friends or sister cities or businesses or whatever tend to have their Bacchus inspired there. And this is just a sextile. So it's daily work. It's easy to get work done in San Antonio. It may not be easy to make your career and become famous, but it is easy to get your work done. So you can read this in your own chart. If you read these 4 points, Bacchus, the North Node, the Imum Coeli, and Persephone, you can see how you rub off on people. And you can also see how your friends rub off on you. By the way, if you're not interacting with people in the realm of your North Node, chances are that your friendship uh, is not as strong as it would be if you were interacting with them in this realm. So if San Antonio, for example, isn't getting people's private communication about their daily work, maybe they're not going to be so happy in San Antonio. The last thing that I want to tell you about as far as friends rubbing off on you. Oh, by the way, those 4 points are a really good reason to pick your friends carefully, because you may find that as you drop certain friends or pick up certain friends, they definitely um, amplify certain traits in your life. The last thing I want to tell you is about firing friends, because this is always fun. Is there any indicator in the chart which shows how or why friends get fired from your circle, or why you get fired from their friends? Yes, it is the descendant right here. The point opposite the ascendant is over here on this side of your chart. And what you'll notice in your own chart is that when either you act up or they act up in ways that are related to this, it's often for folks who are not close to you a cause for you to separate. So you can see San Antonio's descendant is in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th region of Sagittarius. The Sagittarius background is for strangers. So the 6th background here is for work and daily doings. So if folks end up doing a certain kind of work in the public, they tend to leave. And that actually makes sense. If you know San Antonio, folks tend to want to leave San Antonio when they want to be famous because they want their work to shine in the public eye. Another thing about this particular descendant is that San Antonio also has its sextile kind of daily doings in the realm of strangers, which would explain partly why it is so big on the military and biotech, because those are health, Virgo-related things for the general population. Anyway, I like reading this kind of stuff. It's really fun. Gives you a lot of insight in as to why people are the way they are, and also answers some really good questions about what kind of habits you're picking up and what kind of characteristics you can hope to pass to other people.